Sorry, my mic was muted. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Krisa Tsuraki, chair at INVR, and today I'm hosting you here at the very exciting Andean Bridge webinar, where we're going to discuss and introduce the initiative, but go well beyond it, because I know loads of you already have the understanding and the experience of what the Andean Bridge represents and what it is about. Today, we're going to go a little bit deeper, talk about its role, the founders' roles, but also their perspective and what they wish for the future and how they see the organization growing within the bridge and vice versa. So for that, I would like to invite everyone to come on stage, the founders of the Andean Bridge. Unfortunately, I see Stelios joining. We're doing one by one or adding everyone. Perfecto. And I'm sorry, it will be in English, but if the audience has questions in Spanish, we cover more languages than Spanish, but if there are any questions in other languages, feel free to add them on the side and then participate. It's a great opportunity to open up and ask anything that's in your mind. Unfortunately, Bima could not be with us today, but we're happy to take any questions from the audience and then respond with another webinar run by Stelios. So I'll introduce you as you come to my right. Stelios Papagrigoriou, CEO at INVR. Hello, welcome. Nice to see you. Stelios, you're mute. Everyone is muted, just so you know. So always remember to press the unmute button. Sebastián Piña from Impulsa Mendoza, our CEO, and all the way from Mendoza. Estás en Mendoza now, right?
Yes, here I am. Hi, Krisa. Hi, Stelios. Hi, Leon.
And last but not least, a face you all know, because as I said to him again, like he is the face of mining of Latin America. Even though he's Canadian, Guillaume Legarret from Toronto Stock Exchange, head of Latin America. Welcome, gentlemen.
Thank you, Krisa. Thanks, Stelios, Sebastian. It's good. Happy to be part of this this discussion today.
We're going to kickstart, although we're waiting still for BCM to join. But this is a live show, so it's absolutely fine, and it's very cozy, is what I was telling this team today. I know you guys have been meeting each other all around the world to spread the news and the initiative's momentum and its importance. So let me kickstart and warm things up with Stelios and the question that needs to get out of the way. You have 1 minute. So give us the elevator pitch of what the Andean Bridge is and what it is about, and then you have another minute to give us your role within the bridge. Okay.
Of course. So the Andean Bridge is an initiative for that was creating actually for and within the Andean region. The goal of the initiative is to essentially connect projects with investment. That's at the core of what we want to do, and to create a platform where investors strategically and easily can access all of the resources that exist in the Andean region. We saw that there is a very big gap. I mean, all of us here, that there's a very big gap on how you can access junior and mid-cap miners. And we saw that it was really hard actually for investors to connect with them, even for consultants and service companies to connect with them, and vice versa for the junior and mid-cap miners, how they can also be ready and prepare themselves to connect with financing. So the Andean Bridge is essentially the answer to that. And the idea is to consolidate all of the pipeline of projects that's coming out of the region and create an ecosystem that essentially can all year long connect the right projects and opportunities with the right financing. And within that, there's obviously a lot of different things, which I think we can cover like during this webinar.
Perfecto, great. And can you give us, very well done, it was around a minute. So can you also give us the role of INVR in this initiative? Because I know it was your brainchild, and I know this is what you live and breathe for the past 1 year or so. So give us a bit more about INVR's role.
So this was actually created by having conversations with a lot of different people, especially the people in this call, and it was actually coordinated by a lot of conversations we had, for example, with Guillaume on being able to access the region more easily. A lot of conversation with Sebastian and Impulsa Mendoza, and also with the Mendoza province about a vision of creating a hub. So the idea was we can actually connect all of these pieces together and create this kind of regional initiative. Our role within this is essentially to act as a coordinator and help bring all of the stakeholders together in a way that is a partisan, neutral, and essentially elevates the whole region, and essentially allowing all of the founding members and the extended members to take benefit of this.
Completely. So I'll go to Sebastian, who is for those that haven't met Sebastian, as I said, this is like a family table, right? So I want to give people what is happening behind the scenes. Sebastian, at the same time, is one of the actually most prolific people in Mendoza, actually in Argentina. Sebas, take the compliment, please. And I say this because you always come up with this, like since we met a year and a half ago, you've always had this like very big vision for Mendoza and for Argentina, because you go más allá, you go further out of Argentina and at the region. So tell me the role, of course, of Impulsa Mendoza in the Andean Bridge. And then I would like to give us a snapshot of how this is combined with another vision that you have, and how everything connects for the province and for the region.
Well, thank you for the question. We're part of the Andean Bridge because it's a perfect match between our ideas and these people, Guillaume and Stelios, that are visionaries, that really understand that capital is required if we want to promote and to attract investment and to develop this sector. In Mendoza, we've been working a lot on trying to push sustainable investment, and that's why in Impulsa Mendoza we work on 3 pillars, socializing and educating our people, building district, building technical things that aims to promote and to go faster, for example, with permits and understanding of our environment. And maybe the most innovative part when comparing with other regions is that we really take care and give a lot of attention to the capital and to the financing. If we want to rush or go faster with investment, we need to connect the capital with our projects, because the geology by itself will not go to the end of what we need. For that, it's really important to be connected with TSX, which is the largest stock exchange. If we need the money, we need to be in touch with them. And for making it more efficient, we need to be part of an ecosystem and to build that ecosystem, right? And that's what Stelios mentioned. So in that way is, I think, the best match between all of us in order to try to connect all the projects, not only in Mendoza, because the mining is not about just a region. It's a most important thing that all of them needs the capital, and all the region, for example, in the Andean part of the world, there exists a gap between the skills and the understanding of the finance that you need to get into your project, and from the investor all over the world on the characteristic of each region. So in that way, and based on our understanding of how to go faster with investment, we understood that Mendoza can be that center that helps to connect investor with project along the region. Because it's not about Mendoza. What we are thinking and what we are sharing with other provinces and with other countries is part of what we understand is needed. And Mendoza has some natural advantages, and in other ways, some comparative advantages to be that place that can make it more efficient to connect investors all over the world and with the projects on the Andean region.
Yes, and it's a beautiful province to be anyway. It's stunning. It's gorgeous. Sebas, I want to go a little bit deeper on what you said. Okay, that is it is a regional initiative. Of course, Mendoza has been supporting it and seeing its value. Starting with, of course, internally, right? Like, it's really good for Mendoza. It makes a lot of sense, and the province is going towards that direction. Can you give me a little bit more? I want to hear about the Finance Hub plan and idea before we kickstart with all the other questions, because I think it's really important to mention from the get-go, if you don't mind.
Yeah, well, thank you for your question again, and let me clarify what a financial hub is, because it's something that it's not easy at the very beginning to understand. The first thing that we need to understand about mining is so big that will not be just part from a province or from a country. It's a region, yeah. It's a very big sector that gives a lot of value to a region as an whole. In that way, we need to have some spaces where you have concentration of, for example, professionals or conference centers that help to meet the people in the best way, or to have like a good experience on that place that you meet all the people. Of course, you need to have the professionals right there, and a lot of connectivity, because people from all over the world needs to have efficient ways to meet between each other.
Sure.
So in that way, we find that Mendoza is a good place for that, because we have good university, we have good professional, good conference center, a very well-connected airport. When you visit Mendoza, you have like a very good experience. And that's why we try to promote Mendoza like this heart of this idea, because it's just about efficiency, but it's not that we are only focused on our project, or we are just one investor just to meet our people. No. We are kind of the heart of a region that needs the capital, and of course, part of connecting the capital is also educating. That's why the Andean Bridge concept of building this kind of workshop and educating the other provinces or region in terms of what they need in order to connect more efficiently with the capital, and then to meet each other in one place, is what we promote and what we want.
Completely. Thank you, Sebas. So I'll go back to this education pillar that you mentioned later. I don't want to keep Guillaume waiting, and I want us to be interactive. Guillaume, last but not least, okay, what is the role of TSX? What did you guys see in this initiative? And you took out all of your, you pull your sleeves up and you said, okay, let's work on it and let's support it. So what is your role as an institution? And tell us more about what was the vision behind it, right? And where do you see it going?
Thank you, Chrissa. And no, I've been covering LATAM for Toronto Stock Exchange, TSX Venture Exchange, for close to 8 years. I've been in LATAM for about 16 years. So I know how important it is to be on the ground, to be connecting with people, and to keep a long-term perspective. I would say that our main role at TSX, TSXV, is to find the right projects for mining, energy, and other sectors. We're not limited to mining, but for this purpose of the Andean Bridge, I think we really focus on mining across the Latin America. We really want to help position the projects in front of capital. And capital at TSX, TSXV is, of course, an important source of capital for growth for these projects, but there's also other sources of capital. And as an exchange, we do want to find the right projects for our markets. We want to connect the right projects with the right investors, but we also understand that there's other sources of capital. There's other groups involved, other stakeholders that need to be involved to help grow the mining projects. For example, an early stage project might need a couple of rounds of private capital before thinking of a listing on the TSX or TSX Venture. So the value I saw of this ecosystem that we created initially is, of course, the leadership and the stakeholders involved, starting with Sebastian and Stelios, and the leadership by Mendoza initially to launch the initiative, to bring together. It's always challenging to start something new. It's difficult to onboard people, but when we launched this initiative and we had, for example, the Capital Forum a couple of months ago in Mendoza, we really found out that there's something happening, and Mendoza shows great leadership. But we can talk about the growth and the plan for growth across Latin America. But for us at TSX, we want to connect with the right people at the right time. And there's a very interesting momentum around mining right now. So projects that require capital, they should be able to connect with capital efficiently. And that's what the Andean Bridge can provide, I think.
Amazing. So Santiago is here in the background. He's joining. Perfecto. Santiago, hola, how are you? You're on mute. You're on mute, sorry. Ahí abajo.
I was mute. Thank you so
I know.
much.
Welcome. Ladies and gentlemen, Santiago Perez. He is from the Bolsa de Comercio of Mendoza, and he's here to join this founders conversation. Santiago, we just to warm you up, and I don't know how much you have watched already. Okay, so we started. You have watched a little bit, or you just zoomed in?
No, I watched the last phrase when Guillaume spoke.
Okay, perfecto. So I will put you into the discussion. I said we need to go más allá de
Just in English.
Yeah, it's my, I don't know. Whenever I speak to Argentinians, I always need to somehow like switch. So we have been talking about the role of each organization within the Andean Bridge, right? Not what you do on your day-to-day basis, but what is your actual role within the bridge? Why did you choose to be a founder in this initiative? Can you give us your perspective, please?
The fact was that the projects, the mining projects, and other kind of projects, just had to go overseas to reach the international markets.
True.
And did not have local partners or regional partners like BIMA or like us in order to help the projects to quotate on international markets. That was the main purpose. And the second one is to due to this partnership, it's quite different if you go into a mining project on a personal basis without due diligence, and you do your own research. And when you get support from IMVVR, from Impulsa, from the local government, from BIMA, and from the markets, we think that the perception of the investor lowers the risk and also the rate, and get easier for the projects to reach the markets.
Mm-hmm. Perfect. And how have you seen the project evolving in the past couple of months? How is your perspective when it comes to its future and how it can support not just Mendoza, right? It's a big regional initiative. How do you see it evolving, and how do you see your role evolving with the program at the same time?
It's difficult to imagine the role as a sole member.
Mm-hmm.
We think we're part of a team, and if you have to put a geography on the market, we would like that it would be here, and that the ecosystems that would naturally be created around the projects would have site here in Mendoza and in Bolsa de Comercio or on the surroundings. But for that to happen, we need to work together, and all the parts have been working, mainly IMVR, Stelios, and Guillaume. But that's what we need in order to articulate everything, because if we do not do that, things would not work.
No, completely. Gentlemen, I want to sort of like massage the conversation, and I want to really understand what do the next 6 and 12 months look like, okay? If there are loads of companies that are knocking on our door. I know because I receive the emails on a daily basis, okay, as well. So what are the biggest successes so far? Maybe we start with this. What have we achieved so far that is a basis for the future? And what do the next 6 and 12 months look like in terms of schedule, in terms of planning, and what do we need next? What is the next step? Celia, you can start, but I would like for everyone to contribute and give their perspective.
Yeah, that's a really good question. So I think over the last 10 months, we'll actually be closing a year of this initiative this November. So although I think it's becoming quite mature, we still need to realize that there's been a lot of things achieved in less than a year of inception, right? So I think over the last 10 months, what we've achieved is we managed to essentially put in place two of the most important pillars that we wanted to bring on board as a team altogether of the Andean Bridge, the educational pillar and also the connection pillar. And we're now working on the acceleration pillar as well. So as part of the educational pillar, I think we managed to bring a lot of high quality, world-class experts to bring a lot of the expertise that right now I think the region is fertile to receive. So we ran a lot of different workshops during the Andean Capital Forum. I know that Sebastian and Impulso Mendoza are also running a lot of different workshops. And
these workshops, what are they about, right? Like a workshop, who is it for, and why are you holding workshops, and where?
Yeah, that's a good point. For those that are not very familiar, the idea of the Andean Bridge is to, in order to create this kind of connection between projects and capital, what we've realized is that it's not only the connection itself. We've realized that actually the 2 points that we wanted to connect, they also didn't have enough understanding on how to prepare for each other, right? So on one hand, we had a lot of projects that obviously they had this very beautiful geology, but potentially they were projects, but they were not really investable companies. So what we realized that's a very big value add that the Andean Bridge could provide is to actually educate all of these project owners how can they prepare correctly and have a period of time where they can prepare. So when they meet capital, they are ready to actually showcase the real potential that they have. And on the other side, we saw there's also a lot of regional capital, like locally within the Andean region, within Argentina, Chile, Peru, that obviously they show the risk profile that investing in natural resources would need, and we see it because there's a very big oil and gas industry. But we see that a lot of capital is not really ready to understand the mining sector purely because it's in its infancy, right? So there is workshops also targeting the buy side of things. We realize that they will be very beneficial. So this could be the first pillar of the Andean Bridge, actually, education, both for projects and investors on how can they prepare with each other. And we see a lot of interest from both sides. We see a lot of companies that they really want to prepare themselves, that they're craving for something like this. And also we see, as part of a lot of initiatives we do, a lot of interest from the investment side, that they are actually looking for certifications that we are creating. They're looking for workshops that we are creating. So there's been a lot of work on that front. One part of this work would be the workshops that we run as part of the conferences. At the same time now, as the team is expanding, we start having workshops in resource-rich areas and like world-class, essentially mining regions within the Andean region, where we can educate projects. The upcoming one, actually, and we're very happy about this, is we are planning a workshop for the north of Argentina being hosted in Salta, and we would like to essentially start welcoming the north of Argentina also being part of the Andean Bridge. And another really great initiative that I think maybe Sebastian would be better to talk about. We are launching, for example, a diplomatura aimed at professionals that they want to enter and really utilize the boom of the mining sector.
Any type of professionals, or What type of professionals? Like any type of professionals? Or
In best, I would like to leave this for Sebastian, because I know it was. I know that he also have a great academic background, and maybe he would be the best way to explain this. So,
Dr. Sebas.
if you would like, you can explain a bit more about the diplomatura that we are preparing as part of the first pillar of the Andean Bridge. And I know that you were very one of the big champions of this, of course.
Well, first of all, I completely agree that education is really important, but cannot be considered kind of isolated. You know, we want education to promote the capital, and of course, part of a more efficient network, more networking that we also promote amid this Andean Bridge concept. But yes, education is like the oil that keeps the gears of an engine running smooth, right? So we need to work hard on the different type of education. In Mendoza, particularly, we're starting to promote education at the schools, to have more focused education on capital market in our colleges. And with the Andean Bridge, we're really focused and we really trust, and it's part of what we want in Mendoza, aiming this financial hub idea, is that our professionals really understand how the financing works, you know. And in a financing transaction, there are several people involved, not only a GO and a financer. We have accountants, we have lawyers, we have engineers. So all those people are part of this ecosystem and exist in Mendoza and the other provinces of Argentina. So it's just about plugging in, you know, the mining concept, which is sophisticated, but it's not that hard to understand. So bringing through the diplomatura and all the people involved in Andean Bridge will be the way that we can promote more networking efficiency and more capital, because all these people will understand better how the capital flows into the projects, how TSX work, which are the program, who people you need to connect, how do you need to evaluate your company. So that's part of the role of education here, and it's part of what we want, to build new projects, bring more projects into the pipeline, of course, more opportunities for all the region.
Thank you, Sebas. Guillaume, I really want to understand, how is the flow looking, what has been improved, like, because you see both sides very well, okay? You actually see where the money is going and flowing towards. Have you seen a change ever since you launched the initiative? I mean, we launched, but you guys have been working day and night behind it. So what is this change, and what do you feel that is required as a next step that we haven't maybe looked into until now?
Yeah, well, there's lots of things going on, but I think it's what is really interesting right now is to see how the Andean Bridge itself is using Mendoza as a stepping stone to other jurisdictions, because of course mining jurisdictions compete for capital, but at the same time investors look at all mining jurisdictions right now for critical minerals. And so I think it's really important to use this Andean Bridge as a neutral approach. We're looking at all jurisdictions. Investors will be following very closely what is happening. We're trying to bring more investors to the region. I think this is what the Andean Bridge allowed us to do, is to for example, we're planning the next roadshow, TSX roadshow, in October, November, end of October in Mendoza, and early November in Santiago. But we hope to bring projects from the whole region to these two matchmaking sessions with investors. And what I saw from what we did at the beginning or last year, the first roadshow that we organized, and all the activities of the Andean Bridge, is that people understand, on one hand, in LATAM, people start to understand that there's an initiative going on that will help connect projects with capital. But on the other hand, we have more and more investors interested to be part of this, because they know that it will be very interesting to connect with the best projects in the region. So I think it's about connecting people, of course, the whole ecosystem, as Santiago was mentioning, the strength of the ecosystem, but also making sure that we have more investors coming at America. Some of the projects we're just hoping to meet someone at PDAC in March in order to move their project forward. This is not how it should happen. Of course, PDAC is an important conference, but we're trying to bring more investors to understand the reality of the different mining jurisdictions and meet with the right project. So this is what we're doing right now. I mentioned that we're planning this next roadshow. We're starting to onboard the projects, so you can follow the Andean Bridge activity, and you will be able to submit your project in the next couple of weeks. We'll be more vocal about this on social media and through the Andean Bridge. But for us, it's about communication to the different markets, and also expansion in terms of the different workshops, as Stelios mentioned. And at TSX, we want to be part of the education process. We brought the University of Toronto program into the Andean Bridge because we believe that they are really qualified to talk about the reality of mining financing. And of course, TSX is one of the pillars of this mining financing approach in Canada and the ecosystem in Canada. So it's about telling the people what can be done. It's about being there and bringing the right investors at the right time for the right projects. And it's about growing the initiative throughout the region. And that's what we're doing right now.
Guillaume, where do you see it growing next? What is your perspective? Where would you like to see it growing next? I know the plan, but where do you see it? Because you're speaking with so many companies and investors per day, right? Where do you see that there's fruitful ground?
We keep a neutral approach in terms of different mining jurisdictions because we have investors and we have properties everywhere. We have over 1,000 mining properties across Latin America listed on TSX and TSXV. That's more than 300 issuers. So we have investors involved and connected in all markets. But what we need to do is not only to convince investors to invest in certain jurisdictions, but to talk to all mining jurisdictions to see what do you have to offer. Because all mining jurisdictions have something to offer. And we have investors looking at more early stage projects. A good example is the Argentina Metals recent IPO on the TSX Venture. It was a very preliminary project in the Malargüe region that was introduced to us by Sebastian and the team, connected with the right CPC last year, and ended up in a very nice IPO in recent weeks. So there's investors looking at early stage projects, investors looking at more mature projects, and investors that will only look at producing assets. So there's investors that will be aligned with different maturity of the projects in different jurisdictions. And I think we need to be open to that. We cannot say that, okay, right now is Argentina and Chile and maybe Colombia in the future. No, everywhere there's something happening. And maybe we'll see Venezuela back on the map in the future. So we have this role to monitor the progress of each mining jurisdiction, but also making sure that the right projects will have access to capital and will be exposed to the right people and the right ecosystem, not just for capital, but for the preparation, as Stelios mentioned earlier. Preparation is key, and I think the ecosystem and the Andean Bridge will allow the projects to be better prepared for capital raising and for growth.
Completely. It's a platform, but at the same time, it provides you with the tools, the tool sets to succeed. Santiago, one of the biggest challenges for the sector, right? I want to go a little bit more locally, but you represent a part that is very, very crucial for all of these mechanisms to work, okay? I don't know if Santiago is frozen. Santiago, can you hear us?
No, I'm not.
Okay, perfecto. Sorry, my internet is also terrible. So I want to understand. So you're speaking with many different investors every day, right? Like, I'll use an example. Someone that has never worked into mining before, right? How can we get this type of invest? Because there is lack of capital coming from local investors towards mining at the moment. How can we bridge this? Like, how can we enhance and motivate the local investors they cannot compete, of course, with the internationals, right? But they can start funding these amazing and crucial mining projects now. So what's your perspective?
Not only to finance the project, but also to finance the value chain, the suppliers or the potential suppliers of the projects. But we should begin for what Stelios suggested. Education is the beginning.
Yes.
In order, and and to lower the risk perception that mining has, at least here. So it would take perhaps some time to finance the projects with local capital, but to finance the suppliers, there are some projects here that are just beginning to produce in the next 2 years. So that the supplies will be real, and the investor will have a real sense of the thing. And education linked to the experience would help a lot.
Completely. And are you having these conversations more and more these days? Like, do you see that there is any change? Maybe not, right? But do you see any change happening at the moment in your province and further down, like regionally as well?
Yes, a lot.
Okay.
We as Bolsa de Comercio, we are in another thing. We're with another entity. We are working with some local states, the municipios, and all are interested and expecting what mining would bring, and they are preparing themselves for that. And there's a great expectation here, not only in the province, but in the region, in the entire region, related to the projects that are beginning. So we need to be intelligent in order to educate the public, and to reach and to honor also, because things should be well done. And I insist on the team working we all should do in order for this to be successful for everyone.
Completely. We see this internationally, right? Like you cannot do anything alone, and you need a different expertise, and you need a different perspective sometimes. Maybe you don't have the expertise, but you have a different perspective. And I think the local perspective will create the overall perspective, because if you don't start on the ground with the work on the ground, education on the ground, you won't be able to reach your objectives whatsoever. I agree, Santiago. Stelios, I know you wanted to add. I can see you because I know you. So
what I wanted to add is that like we've been like talking from personal experience as well, and we all have different experiences working in the region, but talking from personal experience working in the region, I think we visited, for example, Chile many times, obviously all over Argentina, other places, Peru, Bolivia. So what we see is that actually there is a fascinating, there's a magnificent opportunity of resources, right? And I think we all know it. And there is also a lot of expertise within the region that they can be shared, and cross-pollinated. So, and I think the whole Andean region right now is in a fantastic way, because we have obviously jurisdictions that are, ahead. And for example, we've been speaking with some people from Peru, and sometimes they joke that they live in the future, which I think is true. And then you have also places like Argentina that has
they
all
have
of
the
these.
most active, by the way, just from reading, and they have the most active community in Peru. They're extremely active,
Yes.
and on it.
Yes, exactly. A very active community, a lot of experts. We see this the same in Chile. We see also fantastic opportunities that are now coming up from Argentina, because obviously you see, I think this is something that we all know, right? So I think creating this kind of regional initiative has the opportunity to essentially, for the region to help itself and cross-pollinate this kind of expertise and opportunities, right? And of course, Mendoza is a fantastic place to convene all of these things, and aligns with a vision of creating the hub. So obviously, I think this makes a very beautiful combination. But what we see is that, yes, there's a lot of expertise, there's a lot of capable people, there's also capital that can be triggered. What's missing is something to connect them properly, and what's missing also is education to actually help, as Santiago said, to essentially trigger and start all of these things, right? So we are focusing a lot on that part. And the second part is, again, there is so much potential in the region. What we've seen though is that it's very fragmented. So every different region and every different jurisdiction, there is this kind of intention to potentially attract investor for themselves. And what is happening is that there is this constant, like, let's say, immigration almost, right? Where you need to go and try to find capital and bring it in. And it's not efficient at all. So what the Andean Bridge is trying to create is, like, we want to essentially consolidate it all and create a pole of attraction by bringing everything together that is essentially irresistible for investors to go and find in one place all of the potential of the Andean region, right?
So you have the local investors, you have the Latin-based investors, okay, like
Yes.
not local, but more of a regional, but within the ecosystem. And then you have the international investors, right? And the traditional pool has been Canada. Let's not fool ourselves. Canada has been supporting this change from oil and gas to mining and minerals very strongly and very successfully. Guillaume, can I ask you, are we going to have competition for Canada anytime soon in this pool of investors and push? And how do you see the global ecosystem responding, capital ecosystem responding to this?
Yeah, well, I can speak about first how our markets are behaving or responding. I can say that, Toronto Stock Exchange, TSX Venture Exchange, we are the largest mining exchange. Mining represents a certain number of issuers, at more than 1,200 issuers. But what is really interesting is to see that mining represents more than 50% of the capital raised since last year on the TSX, TSXV. And more interesting is that the TSX Venture Exchange, or the capital for early stage project, represents about 50% of the mining capital raised. So for us on our markets, it's a signal that projects are, the market cap of mining is now $1.3 trillion, 1,200 issuers. We've seen quite a few new listings and also capital raised on the main board TSX and also on the TSXV. So this is a clear signal that investors are looking for new stories, new projects. If we compare, Australia is a mining market as well, but I would say that we're ahead of the other mining jurisdictions right now in terms of capital raising. So we're lucky we have the right platform, but I think we need to present the right projects to the investors working on the platform, because global investors are active around mining, but the Canadian ecosystem is pretty strong and understanding mining. And I think the challenge for the different markets that I'm covering is that they don't have yet this ecosystem to finance mining, but they want to be part of it. So the idea of the Andean Bridge, and that's why BIMA is such an important part of the Andean Bridge and other stock exchanges in the region, is that there's a need to create a bridge between capital markets. It's not about just going to Canada to raise capital. It's about growing the local market. And BIMA was really open for this, to have this discussion early in the process by being part of the Andean Bridge, because we believe that there will be capital markets, there will be an ECM, equity capital markets, growing in Argentina, and we want to be part of this. So we want to work with BIMA to create that. But I think that the investors locally will want to be part of the growth of the mining sector, but global investors now are involved. So it's about connecting markets, it's about connecting capital markets. And we want to be the leading player in the world to do so. And LATAM is right now a very important market for this.
I love your diplomatic answer, very professional and always on point. We see some movement, right? We see a lot of movement nowadays. But I think that, again, I don't say this as part of the project, but I really believe that Canada really gets it, and I'm not going to talk about TSX, okay? I need to be non-partisan. But the Canadians always are very adventurous, but they know what they're getting themselves into, and mining, is at the heart of everything. So I want to go back
If
to.
I may, Krista, if I may
Yes.
add to your point, it's very interesting what you're saying. You say Canadian get it. I think they get it. We have the ecosystem in Canada. But what I realized over the past few years is that I think the local management teams across Latin America, they deserve to be more visible to the Canadian ecosystem, because we have a lot of Canadian investors and Canadian property owners that own properties across the world and in LATAM. But what Canadians now like to see is local management teams that are emerging and presenting their projects, because there's nothing like a local team that understand the culture, the business culture, and the asset and the history to grow a mining project. So I think that's probably where the market is going, from maybe Canadians going to the world and buying properties to having more local management team positioning their project for global capital. And I think that's
Completely.
something happening right now, really important.
And this is part of sustainability, by the way. I'm going back to what Seba said in a different way. It's still like a part of sustainability to be able to work with local, and what Santiago said as well. Like it's this local element that investors are looking now. They and they're very keen to, and they not even very keen. They're looking to work only with places, markets that are and value chain that is ready, that they will go, and they will not plug and play, but they will have less risk and more homogeneous approach of how they see their investment, plus how the locals see that investment growing as well, and doing it together. In the past it was more of like, okay, let's start building everything from scratch and we will bring our team. Now that's not the trend, and for many reasons, right? And Sebas, you touched upon the sustainability. Santiago, sorry, you raised.
In that part, that was not created alone, and you mentioned Sebas, and this was envisioned by the government, by the local government, and they or Sebas or Impulsa gathered us all. And it's a quite important role. I would like him to explain it, and how did they envision this, and where do they want to go next?
Amazing. That's a great one, Santiago. Thank you so much. Sebas, no pressure. All eyes on you.
Where can I start? In terms of sustainability, I think it's part of the DNA of the mining sector, for sure. It requires huge investment and a long-term relationship. So it's not just about the economic part. You need to take care of your social part and in your environmental part. So we promote it because, of course, we understand what and how the mining sector works, and the windows sometimes are open, despite of the fact that, for example, today we have huge fundamentals for copper, for example. But we need to take care of that advantages, and we need to go fast, and we need to be flexible in some way. But everyone wants to take care of the sustainability part, because, as I mentioned, in another scenario, we will be putting risk in our mining projects and our mining strategy in the region, not only in Mendoza, for sure. That's the way we need to start thinking and understanding that sustainability is part of the investment. And in terms of what you were thinking and discussing about the future, well, from Mendoza's side, of course, we want to consolidate an ecosystem that aims to promote and to attract more capital to projects. On that regard, our challenge will be to move from natural advantages into comparative advantages, and education is really, really important. For example, when educating our professional, that will help to move faster the wheel. And for that, of course, is to meet the agenda of the Andean Bridge, because it's about this. If we have more networking conference, more education in all the region, more networking, more cases like Argentina Metals will come into the table. And I think, and I agree with Guillaume in that side, Argentina Metal is kind of a very good example on what we need and what we want. And we need more and more Argentina Metals, because are part of the opportunities we will have in the mining sector in the future. And once again, this is not just about Mendoza. Mendoza has been innovative in sustainability, and the role of the financing, but it's all the region. Is the geology doesn't take attention just to Mendoza or to San Juan or to Chile. It's everywhere. And as Guillaume said, investors are not. Guillaume is not the head of Mendoza. He's not the head of Chile. He's the head of Latin America. And we need to understand, and every one of us need to understand that it's a region, and we want to take advantage on this opportunity.
Completely. So as we have to close, I would like to ask you all to give me where are you guys, because I won't be able to be there, but where do we see each other next? What is the plan for the next 2 months?
I think that Stelio needs to start because he managed the agenda.
Exactly.
Yeah. So we are growing a lot, and we start meeting on different places. The next actual meeting place will be Salta on the 7th of September, and everyone here is invited to register your interest. There are limited spots. And the idea is to exactly continue with an educational journey. So we'll be hosting a series of workshops as part of the University of Toronto, one on every city in the 3 countries that we are working with right now, Argentina, Chile, and Peru. And in addition, because we are very active actually in the rest of Latin America as well, we will also be doing a workshop in Brazil. You can find all of this information, by the way, in the Andean Bridge website. And then we are planning actually our big meeting place for the second semester of the year, which is going to happen as part of the Argentina Critical Minerals and Mendoza Finance Day. It's going to happen on the 27th of October until the 31st. And we are planning to have actually a very nice party on the 31st of October as well. And then we will continue in Santiago. And we will also have a very special feature in Mendoza as part of the Sustainable Conference of Mendoza on the, if I'm not mistaken, Sebastian, on the 17th of November, right?
Yes, 17th, and yeah.
So it's a very busy schedule. We are on a big mission, and I'm actually very grateful to have everyone here, along with like everyone in this call, to be partners in this journey, along with a lot of other members, by the way, that are not here, are key stakeholders that are bringing expertise in their own sectors, and also a lot of other members that I think we have. I think we have more than 20 members so far, apart from the key stakeholders that are actually part of the Andean Bridge, which actually shows how much this kind of initiative is needed. But yes, we're going to continue the educational journey, and I think we are just beginning. And I think expect way more updates from the space to everyone watching.
I hope you will finally invite me. Now my hope is with Santiago. They still don't invite me at all these incredible networking activities in Mendoza. Sebas was responsible for that, but now I think my hopes are with Santiago.
You are invited. You are invited.
Yes. Un gusto conocerte.
November.
Exactly. Un gusto conocerte. It was a great discussion that of course, we need to continue. And I know Stelios will be hosting each one of you on a different one-on-one webinar or interview. I want to wish you the best. I know you're working day and night to make this initiative grow, and it has grown a lot. So congratulations. And I want to encourage everyone that is basically, if they have capital that they want to invest in a sector that is growing really, really fast, to do it through the Andean Bridge. If they are looking, if they're project owners and they're thinking into amplifying their footprint, and they're considering, how can I raise money? How can I get more experience? I could go and bring your idea and your project in within the bridge. Of course, we're always all we welcome you, your questions, your ideas. We will guide you through it. And also, if you feel that you need more information and you're hesitant about whether I should invest in Latin America in mining, whether I should be part of this, we're here to handhold you and take you through this journey until you make a successful investment. You have different particles in this very big machine that hasn't stopped working, and I hope that the next time we speak will be in Mendoza. I got the invitation from Santiago, thanks God. And jokes aside, this is like it's growing very healthy, and I want to congratulate you all. So see you in Mendoza in a month or so time, and congratulations on the successes. And I expect to see more things within the next month or so. I'm gonna keep you responsible for it.
For
Thank
sure.
you, gentlemen.
See
Thank
you,
you so
see you
much.
here when you hear. Bye bye.
Goodbye, everyone. Thank you so
Thank you
much.
so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye.